Taped from New Jersey, it's the SNL Nerds, a show where two comics from New Jersey nerd out about Saturday Night Live. I'm your co-host, Darren Patterson.
And I'm your co-host, John Trumbull.
John Trumbull, how are you, good sir?
I am doing very well, Darren Patterson. I mean, the world is still on fire, but I'm still here. I'm surviving. I'm still here. I'm still standing.
Still standing, yeah.
I'm like Denzel Washington in that prison movie that he did that I'm blanking on the title of. The Hurricane.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I thought that I'm still standing, I'm still strong. Isn't that from Antoine Fisher, though? I mean, Denzel is in that, but it was...
Oh, yeah. I think you're probably right. I'm mixing up my Denzel Washington movies.
Mixing up your Denzels?
Probably because I haven't actually seen either one of those movies. I just know them from the trailers playing over and over and over.
Oh, dear. It's all the same to you. It's all Training Day and The Preacher's Wife.
Yeah. And that one where he's the drunk pilot. Flight.
Oh, very good. Wow, this turned into a Denzel Washington podcast out of nowhere. I like it.
Yeah, it did. I should watch more Denzel Washington movies in quarantine, I guess. I need a better appreciation for his body of work. So since we're done here, I'm firing up the Equalizer.
That's it. He's a fine thespian. Has he ever hosted SNL? He never did, I don't think.
I don't think so. That would be interesting to see him host.
Yeah, I mean, I know he can be funny. I don't think he's done. Mm-hmm. He really hasn't done too many comedies, really. But I think he'd be a good host. Wow, I never thought about it until just now.
He's a talented, versatile guy, and it would be really fun to see him get goofy because he's got a very serious kind of image.
Yeah, that's true.
So that'd be fun. Yeah, let's start a campaign to get Denzel to host SNL.
That's right. You're welcome. We got Don Cheadle on SNL. Now we get Denzel Washington. You're welcome, guys.
Oh, were we responsible for Don Cheadle?
Well, I feel like, didn't we mention on one of our shows, like one of our old stand-up shows, where we just we did like a Don Cheadle chant?
Yes, we like the first show we were co-hosting, and this was like in Hoboken, I think. Somehow we just started talking about Don Cheadle, and you and I just started naming every Don Cheadle project we could think of, and we started to chant just Don Cheadle rocks. And yes. We led the audience in a giant Don Cheadle rocks chant. So
yeah, I think that was the Non-Pro show in Montclair. And I feel like through that chant, like the vibes, the energy was sent through the universe, like the chakras. Mm-hmm. And through our chanting, Don Cheadle got to host Saturday Night Live. I mean, look, I feel like that's correct. Like, I have no evidence on this. I have no proof on this. It's just, I feel it.
Yeah, I'll own it. Yeah, I wasn't thinking that at first, but clearly there's no other way that could have ever happened.
That's right. We don't need evidence or anything like that to support it. Like, it's in a YouTube video I saw on Facebook. Like, so it must be true.
Exactly. We're in a post-fact society now, so
fact schmacks.
But anyway, enough of us pumping ourselves up. We're here to talk about SNL, the season finale for season 45, specifically their third SNL at Home episode, and this is season 45, episode 18 from May 9th, 2020.
Yeah, this is it. I mean, I was when I heard that this would be the final episode, it kind of surprised me, just because oh wow, I guess this is it. Because usually they go till mid-May, not till the beginning of May.
Yeah, I looked it up. Season 44 had a total of 21 episodes, and so this one they just had 18. They cut it a little short, but I think under the circumstances we can definitely forgive them. It had to be a real logistical nightmare to put these SNL at Home shows together, which I think is why they were doing them every other week.
Yeah, fair enough.
So, and I wonder if part of the reason they did this many was they were contractually obligated to deliver a certain number of episodes. But I don't know.
Yeah, fair enough. I guess so. But I mean, I get it. I understand it. It's still a bummer that we won't get any more new SNL until September, maybe, depending on how this madness goes on. But yeah, I don't know. We'll get into it.
Yeah, I mean, who knows where the world is going to be by September? Because we're just living through unprecedented times, and all anyone is trying to do is just muddle through the best we can, and SNL included. So,
Indeed.
anyway, should we dive in? Should we start going through this thing sketch by sketch by sketch by sketch by sketch by sketch by sketch? There are a lot of sketches in this episode, you guys.
So many damn sketches. I mean, my good gravy.
That's also what makes these SNL at home episodes kind of tough, especially when you watch the show like we do, and we're taking notes as we go. And on a normal live show, you can pace that out pretty well because it's usually like a sketch and then a commercial break and then a sketch and a commercial break. So you have some time to catch up on stuff. Here, it's like 3 sketches clumped together because none of them are live. So we're scrambling to catch up for a lot of the show.
Yeah, I mean, they just supersized it. Like every at home, it's just like sketch on sketch on sketch.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, a few times I was like looking at my watch and just be like, okay, well, surely the show's almost over. And it's like, oh, no, it still has a half hour to go. But, yeah, let's go into it. We started out with the Trump graduation speech, cold open, with St. Mary Magdalene School doing a virtual graduation, as many high schools and I suppose colleges are doing these days.
We have Kate McKinnon as the principal, doing the online graduation speech, saying, sorry, we have to do this now, but with COVID-19, this is how things are done now. And one thing I got a kick out of is like all the other cast members are the graduates, and
Yes.
Because the one thing that struck me funny was everybody had to make their own kind of graduation hat or mortar at home, and there's like some people like Kyle literally. His hat is just like a cardboard box he found from his like router or something like that.
I made a note like Beck's mortar board was just literally a book attached to a backwards baseball cap. And it's so funny to see like this highly professional, high production value show like SNL be so ramshackle because it's literally like, well, what do I have around the house?
Yeah, no one has a mortarboard hat just lying around.
I mean, unless you have kids that are of graduation age, or unless you hung on to something from like your college graduation. Like Kate seemed to have the real deal, but everybody else, no, not so much.
Yeah, I mean, Kate just seems to have just costumes and wigs just on hand at the ready. Everybody else is like, let me get this. I don't know. Let me get this calendar and glue it onto my yarmulke, and that'll be my head.
Exactly. So the premise here was most of the featured speakers or the commencement speakers that they wanted were not available or turned them down. So they went with, I think it was like they said the 8th choice, and it was Alec Baldwin coming back as President Trump, and Alec Baldwin, of course, doesn't have access to his usual Trump makeup, so he's just wearing a MAGA baseball cap and doing his Trump impression, and he's congratulating the class of COVID-19, which I thought was kind of funny.
Right, he was saying that now they have a bright future and lots of job opportunities ahead of them, such as cam girl, grocery store bouncer, and porch pirate.
Where's the lie? Where's the lie?
It ain't here.
And I like he also said, I'm honored to be your valedictator. Just some clever wordplay in there. And we also had Trump muting all the black students.
Oh, yeah. I'm not taking questions, Bebop.
Which is just so wrong, but just very funny. And you get to see Keenan, Chris Reds, and Ego's alarmed and dismayed faces as that happens. I like this. This was cute. Actually, I have a note in here from last night that just says this was more depressing than funny. Maybe I don't remember what exactly inspired that. Maybe just because it was reminding me of the president too much. But
yeah, I mean, usually when just any visual of the president just causes me to just be bummed out. But like, I got a kick out of this one. Like, there's like a nice little opening sketch here, and at the end, I think we had Baldwin like kind of break character, much like Pitt did with Fauci. He's saying, "Oh,"
Mm-hmm.
and it said live for one last time. It's live from New York at Saturday Night Live. So I guess Baldwin's saying publicly now he's done doing this Trump impression.
Gee, I don't know. He could have just been saying it's the last show of the season. I don't know. I could go either way on that. I don't know what was meant by that, and I think if they're smart, they're leaving themselves a little bit of wiggle room, because if the show comes back as normal in the fall, they're obviously going to need and want to do some stuff with Trump. And at this point, it's been going on for so long. Why not just have Baldwin finish it out? I mean, assuming that Trump is not reelected, of course.
Oh, that's from your lips to God ears.
Yeah, I know. I'm not going to get anything about that.
Are you okay? Wow, that was a long.
I just had to think about it for a few minutes, and it's a scary thing to think about. So I'm not going to go there. I don't want to go off on a big political rant. But
yeah, that was like a long, depressing sigh you took.
I've got loads of long, depressing sighs these days, Darren. Have language skills at this point. This is the only time I talk to people.
Oh wow! Oh boy! It's okay. It's okay, man. It's okay. Hey, we're.
Oh, excuse me. I'm just broken.
It's okay, man. Stay with me, man.
I'm with you. I'm good. So then we had our SNL at home opening credits, which I've really come to like, by the way. They're really rather witty.
Yeah, I dig it.
Yeah, I'm going to miss those, and it's fun to see like the different cast members' approaches to them. Some tried to like duplicate their shots in the regular opening. Some of them like really leaned into, oh, I'm at home and everything's gone to hell. Some of them tried to like glam it up or look good, and some tried to have like a little gag in there. It's just interesting to see everybody's different approaches, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. It's cute. I dig it.
I'm going to miss those a little bit if we don't see those again.
Oh.
But then we had our monologue from a returning cast member. We had Kristen Wiig coming back.
We got the wig.
We got the wig coming out and helping out her old buddies at SNL. And she did like a Bob Fosse type dance number. She had like a little sparkly jacket on. And at one point she like pretends to flash us and we get pixelated nudity, which I always find funny.
Yeah, it's like, oh, you want some biscuits with this tea? And yeah, then we got like the flash, like Drew Barrymore at the on David Letterman show flash.
Yeah. Do you think this is the first time that an SNL host has flashed the audience?
Excellent question. Maybe it just might be. I don't think that's ever happened. Maybe Helen Mirren. I don't know, but yeah, I think
maybe like Donald Pleasance when he hosted in the '70s or something. I don't know.
Oh yeah. Oh.
Yeah, they should. Maybe they should make that a regular thing. Have more hosts just flash the audience.
I'd be down with it. Hey, human body's a beautiful thing, baby.
Yeah, you just the hosts, they come out, they flash the audience, it breaks the ice, it gets everybody in the mood for comedy.
Yes, comedy.
Yeah, I don't even know what I'm saying anymore.
Wow, are you all right?
But, yeah, I'm all right. But this was cute. Let's see.
Oh yeah, it was cute, and then they also Kristen gives like a serious note saying thanks to all the moms out there. Which
she said like, "Oh, my mom's not available because she's in a bodybuilding competition," and then we see like a Photoshop thing of basically like Kristen Wiig's face on a female bodybuilder, and that's supposedly her mom.
Right, exactly.
And then towards the end, she sang like a lullaby. What'd you think of this?
I thought it was a cute opening. Like she began singing the lullaby, but then it kind of goes into this big kind of Broadway type of, Dreamgirls like belting out a Good night, like that. It's so. Yeah, I dug it. I thought it was cute.
I could have done without this part. I think it started to remind me a little too much of that thing that Gal Gadot started, or excuse me, Gal Gadot started with all the celebrities singing Imagine, and none of them are in the same key.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was just because it was Kristen Wiig singing in both, so it just started to remind me.
Oh, okay. All right. All right. I see what you're saying.
That was just my feeling,
Okay.
but it was nice to see Kristen Wiig.
All right. Yeah. Yeah. It's Kristen Wiig. It didn't really bug me. But yeah, I see what you're saying. I see where you're coming from.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. Next, we had our first sketch. This was Zoom catch up, right?
Yes. Another Zoom sketch.
Yeah, I mean they're kind of limited, and I mean it seems like what if they keep on doing these SNL at homes, they'll just have to do more and more Zoom sketches.
Oh, yeah.
Because what else? What else can you do when every cast member is isolated in their own home?
It's like, hear me out. Maybe a Skype sketch.
Let's mix it up.
Let's switch it up. Let's do a Microsoft Teams sketch. It's just different programs.
But I think the big thing in here was we had another visit from an ex SNL cast member or an SNL cast alum, Martin Short.
We got Marty Short in the house tonight, y'all.
Yeah, and he and Heidi Gardner were playing Deidre and Ripley, who had just traveled to Italy for Quarantina, and they talked about how they hugged and kissed people, and they're just basically doing every foolish practice you could do in the time of quarantine.
Yeah. I mean, basically, these characters have been done before. Like Heidi did it with Seth Meyers back when he hosted, and then Heidi did it with James McAvoy on his episode. Seth Meyers, they went to Cuba, and James McAvoy and her went to New Orleans. So, and in this sketch, they went to Milano for the quarantine. Yeah.
And they're just overly obsessed with whatever place they just visited. So they just never shut up about their trip. And I think everybody can relate to that. Everybody knows somebody who just went on a trip to somewhere interesting, and they just keep telling you about it.
Yeah, very much. Like the type of people that really want to be part of the culture, or the experience of the country they're in, but it just kind of comes off as being kind of fake and phony.
Yeah. There's something almost condescending about it. But this was cute. I liked how they had a line that said that they were helping ship PPE out of Italy. So.
Oh yeah, and how Martin Short said, "Oh yeah, the captain, he was a kind of a peach. His breath wasn't perfect, but it's Italy."
Yeah. This was cute. I don't think it went on for too long, and it just lets the other cast members practice them reacting in horror to all the heinous stuff that Heidi and Marty Short are saying.
Yeah, pretty much. It's pretty much like a platform for Marty and Heidi to just kind of go off and over enunciate words like quarantina and ventilators and whatnot. I thought this was cute enough.
Actually, I just remembered Martin Short. He was on Conan O'Brien's show maybe a week or two ago, and he was talking about how he was actually overseas on tour with Steve Martin when the coronavirus hit. I forget what country they were in, but he talked about having to cancel their tour and make it back to the States so they could go into quarantine. And so
wow,
a little of Martin Short's real life in there.
Life imitates art.
Yes. So next we had a Mother's Day song, Let Kids Drink.
Basically it's like a song with all the cast members about how, hey, times are tough. It's difficult being with your kids this whole time and trying to be strong for them. And so let's make a modest proposal. Let kids drink.
Yeah, because then they're out by 6 and the parents can get a little peace and quiet. I really liked this one. I thought this was good. They had a lyric like, child services says it's totally okay, and then they slug some text at the bottom of the screen just says child services could not be reached for comment. And the note, these kids are barely drunk. And the thing that really put this over the top was they had all these shots of people's real kids. I'm assuming mostly like crew member kids, because I don't think too many of the cast outside of Mikey Day and Keenan have their own kids. And we see all of them like just pretend drinking out of beer bottles or having martinis or chugging whiskey or whatever.
Yeah, it was funny. And at one point, they had Josh Gad come out of nowhere, and like they had him doing a voiceover for his character Olaf from the Frozen movies, and then Josh Gad saying, "Hey, let kids drink. Disney said it's fine." And he's like, "Hey, wait, what?" And then at the bottom it says, "Not approved by Disney. Multiple lawsuits pending."
Yeah, and they had a lyric towards the end. They were like, "Children of the future, and right now the future stinks." I thought this was a funny song, and I'm also just horribly amused by the thought of them gathering all these kids, shots of these kids just being mock drunk.
Yeah, I mean, I'm assuming it was all like apple juice and grape juice and whatnot, but still, just to see, I'm assuming. I mean, just watching a child drink out of a beer bottle, it makes me laugh. I don't see how it can make it. It's just funny.
That's just funny. That's humor right there. And I would like a behind the scenes documentary about the making of this sketch and how on everyone trying to get their toddlers pretending to be drunk, because they were like, oh yeah, toddlers, they're like drunk already.
Let kids drink. And then it goes on to saying, oh, maybe we should let dogs drink. And and I don't know. I thought this was a great sketch. I thought it might be the sketch of the night.
Definitely sketch of the night for me. I thought, it was a funny song. It was a catchy song. It had a nice turn you didn't necessarily see coming right off the bat. So, I thought it was good. I'm probably going to be posting this up on my Facebook page and forwarding it to my friends with kids.
Absolutely.
So, let's see. Next, we had Masterclass Quarantine Edition, another Masterclass Quarantine Edition, because they did this during one of the other SNL at Home episodes. And in this one,
it was it's Chloe Fineman again. No, the last one, it was Chloe Fineman doing her Timothy Chalamet impression, and that like TikTok star whose name escapes me right now, and Carol Baskins. So on this one, we have Chloe Fineman again doing. She's doing a Phoebe Waller-Bridge impression. That's pretty
Waller-Bridge from Fleabag, and also somebody who hosted a little earlier in the season.
Yeah, it was a pretty spot on impression too. I was really impressed by it.
Yeah, well, she had the chance to observe Phoebe Waller-Bridge up close and personal during looks like it was the second episode of the year for a week. So yeah, I'm sure she had lots of time to refine her Phoebe impression, and I thought it was a really strong one. And then we had a Melissa Villaseñor doing John Mulaney, doing a master class on how to wear suits and how to have master class.
Yeah. I mean, I thought this was a good one too. I mean, I thought Chloe's impression was a little bit stronger, but I dug this one too. It's always good to see more Melissa on the show.
Yeah, these sketches, they are a good showcase for Chloe and Melissa. I thought Melissa's Mulaney impression could have been a little stronger, but it was cute. It was enough like John Mulaney that I got the joke.
Right.
And lastly, we had Chloe as Britney Spears, who like the joke there was like Britney Spears just really doesn't have anything useful to impart. Like at one point the screen just flashes, "We paid her too much for this." Which it was really funny. And I was also just kind of impressed how much Chloe Fineman was able to make herself look like Britney Spears with just like a little makeup, a wig, and I'm assuming clothing that she had in her closet. She actually looked quite a lot like Britney Spears at times.
It was pretty spot on.
Yeah. So this was strong. I like this. This was very funny.
Yeah. This was a not a bad sketch. I really dug this. I mean, I think part of me kind of wishes like that the material they had to deliver was a little bit stronger. Just because the
Mhm.
impression is so good, I just would want like the jokes to be a little bit like sharper. But I mean, for the most part, I dug this. I dug this sketch.
Mhm.
I think, like you said, it was a good showcase for them to kind of show what they can do in the impressions realm.
Yeah, and I think that both Chloe and Melissa have adapted pretty well to the SNL at home format. So it's been a good showcase for them, and they've gotten some opportunities that maybe they wouldn't have gotten if they were still doing the show in studio. You know.
Yeah, here.
Hmm. Let's see. Next, we had Zoom Church. This was the Keenan playing the minister at a church, the Mount Methuselah Baptist Church, and they're having a Zoom session with all their parishioners. And it's a lot of Keenan just explaining that everybody has to be on mute so that he's not hearing everybody come back at him, and just another thing about the difficulties of meeting on Zoom.
Yeah, like all this seemed kind of too real to for me. Like I was just like, oh, this is just like a real thing. Like people just can't mute their mics, and people have like
Yeah.
stuff going on in the background, and yeah, this just seems like a real church meeting.
Noises in the background now.
Yeah, like people like, oh, somebody's watching the game, and now the whole church can hear it. Yeah, this all seemed like pretty real to me. It's like where's
Because
the
literally, when you were talking about that, I hear your drink clink and I hear you shuffling papers.
Oh, you heard that? Sorry. Yeah, I had a glass. I had a glass of water and I knocked it over. So sorry.
Do you need a minute to clean up?
No. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
Okay. Okay. Um, this was also interesting just because this had a ton of cameos because they're trying to make it look like it's a pretty good sized Baptist church. So, and Wikipedia already has a couple of the cameos noted on their entry for this page. Apparently, Titus Burgess and Yvette Nicole Brown both appeared in non-speaking roles in this sketch.
Yeah, I
And
totally missed them.
yeah, I missed both of them. I believe I spotted John Lutz though, who's a writer. He was a writer on SNL. He's now a writer on Late Night with Seth Meyers, and you probably remember him from playing the character Lutz on 30 Rock, who was one of the writers on that show.
I do remember him. Like, just his last name is Lutz. How can you can't forget that?
Yeah, it's such a great name. And he played sort of a schlubby loser version of himself, exaggerated for comedic effect, I'm assuming. But I was like, hey, John Lutz.
Mhm.
And we're seeing like all these dinky Zoom screens, and because it's a Baptist church, it was probably at least 75% black people, and I was just like, is this the most black people who've ever been on SNL at one time?
Oh goddamn, yeah. It's like SNL became in living color for a minute.
I know. I was like, this could be one of the most diverse sketches they've ever done.
It's like, oh, this is ethnic as hell.
This is so epic.
Oh, how urban. Oh my.
But this was all right. This was all right. Yeah. I mean, I didn't love it. I didn't hate it.
Yeah, I'm the same thing. I didn't write down too many notes for that one. It's like, oh, this is okay.
Yeah. Next, we have Danny Trejo's song, which is another Pete Davidson rap, just talking about how generally awesome Danny Trejo was or is. And it's kind of in the same tradition as the Tucci Gang rap he did probably a couple of years ago at this point.
Right, or the Ruth Bader Ginsburg rap they did with. And yeah, I don't know. This song I thought was It didn't really, just because like in the beginning, it's like when Pete raps, it's just at one point he's just listing Danny Trejo's filmography. It's like, oh, he was in and honestly, the song picks up a little bit when Chris Red raps because he's doing something a little bit. He raps a little bit faster. He's able to do a little bit more with it. There's a little bit more energy when Chris Red comes in. So, like when Chris Red comes in, the song gets better. But yeah, I mean, for the most part, I thought the song was just kind of meh.
So you're saying you think Chris Red is a better rapper than Pete Davidson?
That's right. Rap battle. I want to see it. Pete Davidson versus Chris Red. Let's get it.
All right. Pete, Darren is calling you out. I'm going to have to prove your rap skills. We're going to have to do like an 8 Mile thing between you and Chris Red now.
That's right. He went to Cranbrook. That's a private school.
I thought this was cute, and I liked that there was a cameo from the real Danny Trejo, who seems to have a nice sense of humor about himself. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, no, I was going to say, yeah, apparently that Trejo has a donut shop, which they mentioned at the end.
Yeah, I would go to that donut shop. I mean, just who doesn't want to have a donut that was endorsed or even made by Danny Trejo?
Yeah. I wonder if you call them like Trejo nuts or something like that.
I don't know. But I mean, I'd say this was okay, but not as good as like Tucci Gang.
Yeah, I agree. I thought it was okay. It's probably on the same level as like that Drake song he did, or yeah, I would say something like that. It's like it's okay, but it's not setting the world on fire.
Yeah, I mean, Tucci Gang, it was funnier just because it was more unexpected, and it's more absurd to do a rap about Stanley Tucci than Danny Trejo. So
yeah, agreed.
Yeah. So next we had a sketch called Hair Vlog, which was another thing with Kristen Wiig playing a character, RJ Chart, and she has a hair vlog called Bouncy Waves. And this had A.D. Cecily and Keenan in it.
Yeah, PJ Chart, I think.
Oh, PJ? Okay.
PJ Chart, yeah, and Kristen Wiig was PJ.
Yeah, you're right. I was misreading my note.
Oh, no worries.
So it was basically just a lot of Kristen Wiig shooting up at herself with her phone with her hair just kind of falling down into the camera.
Yeah, it's like literally like her hair just kind of bouncing off the camera lens, like as she talks. Like there's at some point you don't even see her face or her mouth moving at all. It's just a face, just a camera full of hair in your eyes.
Yeah, and they're just all talking about their hair regimens. I didn't think too much of this. I thought this was just very weird, not particularly funny.
Yeah, like I thought it seemed like they were making fun out of something very specific. Like I guess there are like a lot of like beauty hair bloggers out there that kind of have the same kind of thing to them. So it was like, I mean, I didn't quite get it, but I think it was also kind of odd enough that I kind of liked it. Just like when PJ's friend comes in showing her like these like memes, and then them laughing over it, which is kind of like,
right, yeah, the hair memes, and then PJ gets very offended when somebody's hair is replaced with spaghetti. Like,
yeah,
that's crossing the line.
Yeah, that was like a very weird shift. Where it's just like, hey, I don't think it's funny when you have pasta as people's hair, and maybe we shouldn't talk for some time. Anyway, guys. Anyway, thanks for coming. Yeah, it was like a really weird kind of personality shift that they had. That she had.
Yeah, but if you wanted to see a bunch of SNL cast members wearing various wigs, this is the sketch for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, who doesn't want to see that?
Yeah. So let's see. Not much else to say about that one. But next we had this week's musical guest, which this one really surprised me. This was we had Boys to Men doing a song for Mama at home.
Yeah, with Babyface on guitar.
Yeah, I was like, wow. I did not see this coming. What was your reaction to this, Darren?
I really like this. I mean, just because I'm a fan of Boys to Men from way back in the day. When they first came out, like in the early 90s, I was in junior high, and I really liked the first album they had, the Cooley High Harmony. I listened to that on repeat. I love that album so much that for a year or so, I tried to dress like Boys to Men. So I would wear like a lot of Oxford shirts and slacks and like super crazy colorful neckties. I did think I did that for like a year or so. That was my look. for a bit.
Okay. One, I need to see pictures of you from this era as soon as possible. I want this stuff in my inbox inside of an hour.
I don't know if I have pictures of it, but I definitely did that. Like the type of ties that like Mark Summers wore when he was hosting Double Dare, like that colorful.
I need to see this. I need to see this so badly. My life will not be complete until I see young Darren Patterson dressing like Boys to Men.
I'll see if I can find it. I don't know if I have any pictures. Melanie, my sister, if you're listening to this and you can find a picture of it, send it to me.
Melanie, tweet them at me. We're Facebook friends. Send them to me. I just need to see this.
I was going for a look. All right. So anyway, yeah. So Boys to Men. Yeah, I like this.
I kind of don't even want to do the rest of the show now. I just want to talk about Boys to Men for an entire year of your life. Wow.
It was the early '90s. It was a good look. I think I looked great.
All right. I'm sure you pulled that off.
Yeah.
Do we have anything else to say about the song, about the musical number?
No, I mean, it was a great song. Boys to Men is always a great act. They have, beautiful harmonies. And it was also really nice how, as they were singing, they put in clips of the cast members with their moms. So they showed like old pictures of, Pete with his mom and Cecily with her mom. And it was very sweet, very sweet.
That was nice. And yeah, because the Mother's Day show has become a bit of an SNL tradition. I guess since like Betty White hosted, I think that's the first time I can remember them really doing that. But yeah, they've done at least a couple times where they brought all the cast members or all the mothers of the cast members onto the show, and that was fun.
Yeah, it's very sweet. There's like a lot of there was like a kind of a theme throughout this whole episode I've noticed where it's like a very sentimental, sweet type of vibe going through it. Like, I mean, they mentioned Mother's Day multiple times throughout it, and like giving heartfelt thank yous to moms. There's like and Kristen Wiig did it in the monologue, giving a heartfelt thanks to mom. And like, I mean, we'll get to it later, but the final sketch tonight is very sweet and heartfelt as well. This episode really tugs at the heartstrings, I felt.
Yeah. They did go a little sentimental, especially towards the end. So next we have Weekend Update Home Edition with Colin Jost and Michael Che.
Not even Che. Wow, that was weird. Yeah, he's not even hiding his drinking anymore, and I'm here for it.
I love Michael Che just straight up drinking during the
it's like Dean Martin back in the day.
Yeah, exactly. He's bringing back that Rat Pack sensibility. Michael Che had a nice line early on. He was like, "Yeah, the coronavirus has been rough for all of us. I lost my grandmother. You, Colin, you lost J. Crew." And Colin later just sort of mutters under his breath, "It's a little too soon to talk about J. Crew."
Oh yeah, it's sore spot. Too soon.
Yeah, this was cute. I didn't write down too many other jokes. I think for me the standout thing in the Weekend Update segment was they had a little guest appearance and guest commentary from Tina Fey with a message from others.
Yeah, we got a little Tina Fey in there, sort of giving a little pep talk to everybody out there during these uncertain times. She talked about how now that she's in the house more, she gets to spend more time with her passwords, which is nice. Mm-hmm. Like, to get time to know them, how they're all very individual, and she get to really appreciate them. And her kids are there too. That's nice.
Yeah, I liked how her kids were just an afterthought there. And she had in her message from others, she said, "Hey, did you know that if you're baking cookies and you don't have any flour, you can just go to bed?"
You could just not have cookies.
This was good. This reminded me a little of her sheet cake segment where she just talked about like panic eating sheet cake.
Oh yeah, I mean that kind of went sideways on her, but yeah, it definitely has that vibe to it.
Yeah, and just some clever wordplay in there. She said, like, at one point, these are crying times instead of trying times. And she actually mentioned Dunning-Kruger syndrome, which I enjoyed.
Yeah, that took me a minute. I was like, oh, I don't think I didn't even know about that until she said it, and I had to like look it up.
Well, yeah, Dunning-Kruger syndrome, in case anyone listening to this doesn't know about it, and I read up about this like about a year ago. It's a fascinating thing. It's this phenomenon. It's like this genuine psychological phenomenon where if you don't know a great deal about a subject, there's a human tendency to assume that you know more than you actually do. Like, for you to know how ignorant you are about a particular topic, you would have to know more about that topic. Like, I know very little about sports, but like, I probably think I know more about sports than I actually do. And if I learned a little more, I would know how much I do not know about sports.
Oh, wow. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know about that.
Yeah. So I know a little bit about Dunning-Kruger effect. So therefore, under Dunning-Kruger effect, I know everything about Dunning-Kruger effect.
My mind is blown. Wow.
Yeah. And, and you could say that this phenomenon applies to certain people in the public eye these days, perhaps.
Why, whoever do you mean, John Trumbull?
I will just let that lie there.
Message received.
Yeah.
And then we also had Cecily Strong as Janine Pirro again.
Yes, we had. She said she started out. She said, "Excuse me, I had to do my own makeup while looking into a spoon." And it's fun to see Cecily do the Janine Pirro sketch or character without having the makeup that she usually has, and you get to see her sort of homemade version of Janine Pirro. And she's consuming boxed wine, and she has just like this giant. It looks like a giant juice box.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah, and they actually took advantage of the fact that they were pre-taping this at home, and Cecily changed costumes as Janine Pirro a few times.
Yeah, I noticed that. Like she looked one way, then they cut to Colin, and then she cut back. She was wearing like a yellow dress out of nowhere. Yeah. Like Colin was like, "Did you just do a costume change? What happened?" Yeah.
And then it cuts back to her later, and she's got like a headband on. She's got like smeared dirt on her face and her body. It looks like she's gone native. It looks like she's returned to nature.
Yes. It reminded me of, like, remember that old SNL sketch where David Allen Greer hosted, and it was like the morning talk show sketch.
Oh,
where it was
yeah, the newscasters who where the camera goes out and they go savage. They go full Lord of the Flies.
Yeah. Oh my, that sketch was insane. Where fucking Will Ferrell was holding David Allen Greer's severed head at the end of it. It was like, oh my god.
Yeah. That sketch went for it.
Yeah, guys, look it up. That sketch. Yeah, it was a. Oh boy, that sketch went for it.
But I always enjoy Cecily doing this character, and the real life Janine Pirro is just so exaggerated now that there's hardly any difference between her and Cecily's caricature version of her. I also love it that whenever, like, a trademark of the impression was Cecily would do like an out of the chair flip or spill her cocktail whenever Colin said something that startled her. So here, of course, she does that, and then we see Colin get splashed with water from just off camera. Which, okay, that had to be Scarlett Johansson who was doing that, right?
I'm positive. I'm not positive, but I'm pretty positive. Who else can it be?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I can't. As far as I know, that's the only person that Colin is quarantining with, like Scarlett or maybe one of her kids. I have no idea what her custody situation might be or who the kids might be bugging up with. But I find it hilarious of the idea of Scarlett Johansson basically just acting as a stagehand to Saturday Night Live.
Just there with a bucket of water, just splashing her betrothed.
I mean, I wish we had behind the scenes footage of that because that's just hilarious to me.
Oh.
Let's see. What next? We had what's wrong with? Oh wait, there was one more thing with in Weekend Update that I wanted to mention, which was they did the All In Challenge where they read a joke written by a fan, and Michael had Colin read a joke that he said was written by a sick kid in the hospital.
Yeah,
Where it was talking about like one particular facility that had a sign out front that said black people cannot enter, and it was like just like a sign that I have for my daughters.
Like, God damn. Change.
Oof. Just savage.
Che is a sniper.
Yeah. Just always fun.
It's
I mean, Michael Che tricking Colin Jost or putting up Colin Jost to having him read somewhat racist jokes. That is my jam. That is my happy place now.
I'm here for it. I will miss it until September.
Yeah. I don't know what that says about me necessarily, but I always find that funny.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, wow, yeah, I guess you're right.
And you know what? Props to Colin Jost for being such a sport to do that, because he by this point he knows what's going to happen.
Yeah, no, I mean most people will be weirded out. It's like, oh, I don't want to get canceled, but
right.
Jost leans into it, so it's like, all right, good on you, Joe. Good on you.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun. So next we had What's Wrong with This Pitcher, Mother's Day edition, where Keenan is hosting the game show What's Wrong with This Pitcher, where it's exactly what it says. There's a pitcher, there's something wrong with it. You have to guess what's wrong with it. And all the contestants were mothers. We had Edie as Rebecca, Ego as Grace, and Melissa as Emily, who is actually a grandmother.
Right, and yeah, like Keenan said, oh, how does that work? And like, but they never get into it. They just like kind of breeze over it.
Yeah, and this is usually a funny sketch because they just make hilariously wrong guesses, and wrong in like every sense of the word, where they say horribly sexist and or racist things, or just horribly ignorant things. There's a whole variety of wrong in this sketch.
Yeah. So much wrong, so many, and so much wrong.
Yeah.
I didn't.
Go ahead.
Oh no, I was going to say I didn't write down too many notes for this one.
Okay, I'm glad I waited for that comment.
I'm sorry.
And one of the pictures, we had a woman looking into the mirror, and the mirror reflection is wearing a pearl necklace, but the real woman doesn't have anyone. And the guess was, oh, I know, the glory hole was too high. Now she knows it's the neighbor. Which, that is just so out there. It amused me.
Yeah, that was a good one. I'm surprised no one made a pearl necklace joke, which signs of maturity. Yeah, and it was, it's like probably 12:30 at night by the time this one aired, so they probably could have gotten away with that, but maybe they just didn't want to give the standards and practices person too much grief. I respect that.
Yep. And much of anything else to say about this one? You said you didn't have too many notes for it.
No, yeah, I didn't write many notes about this one. I mean, it's pretty much the standard, what's wrong with this pitcher sketch. I mean, they've done it a number of times before, like when Paul Rudd hosted and whatnot, so it pretty much hit the same beats, and it's pretty much, oh, yeah, that's funny, but it's nothing kind of, too spectacular about it, but it's just like, oh, all right, not bad.
Yeah. So let's see. Next, we had a sketch with 80, Eleanor's house, where it's her birthday and she has like weird things happen, and it's animated kind of like The Sims.
Yeah, this was a weird one.
This was a really weird one. I didn't find it funny. I just found it very, very odd.
So basically, it's called Eleanor's House. It kind of reminded me of like Blue's Clues, the way it looked. I mean, you could tell like the graphics to make this were pretty all right. Basically, it's like 80 Brian saying, "Oh, it's my birthday. I have no one here to celebrate with me." So then they have like a guy like in a dog suit come out, but then they invite other people to the party, and one of the people is this dude Richard Carson, who's kind of like a balding dude in a tank top, and he looks kind of sketchy, and he invites his girlfriend, who's also kind of sketchy, and like they're all like computer animated, like you said, like Sims looking people coming to this party.
This was, I mean, we had like the cast members' faces mapped onto these computer generated characters. And I mean, really, this was like Uncanny Valley, the sketch. This was, I'm going to go full Zoidberg on this. This was bad and you should feel bad.
Oh, wow.
This was, this honestly just felt like somebody smoked a lot of pot in quarantine to me.
I did get strong Adult Swim vibes from this one. I mean, the one part I kind of did chuckle at where, like at one point in the party, there was like a hot tub that came out of nowhere, and like so the Richard Carson guy was in a hot tub, but then things got crazy and the cops get called in, and the cops began like tasing Richard in the hot tub and arresting him, and like Richard was saying, "Oh, you know, you can't. I know my rights," and then his girlfriend Heidi saying, "Oh, if he doesn't party, he dies." I don't know why that made me laugh, but that put a little chuckle in my life.
I don't really remember that moment specifically, but it sounds funny when you describe it. So yeah, I'll give him a point for that.
There you go. Hey, I helped.
Yeah, you helped. But yeah, I thought this was one of those things where I was just scratching my head at the end of it, and there were. I'll be honest, there were a couple more like that before the end of the show.
I'm way ahead of you.
One though. Next we had dad pranks, our dad prank video, which is just basically Mikey Day's kid playing pranks on him.
That's right. He's a rascal. This one. Yeah, we've seen a lot of Mikey Day's son, like throughout this whole season. Actually, like in this episode, I've seen his son more than I've seen Bowen.
Yeah, yeah, that is sad but true. Mikey Day's son has been more heavily featured, and we actually got a tweet from Neil Birchbrock, who's at Agent Coop 007, who says, "Let's start a petition to make Mikey Day's kid the youngest featured player in SNL history."
Yeah.
Which, I think let's have the kid host. Let's have the kid on the show. Manette Moratti says, at the very least, he should be qualified for a SAG card by now. So,
yeah, I mean, does he have an agent? What is going on here?
Yeah. I mean, Mikey Day's kid, he's got some talent. I'm sure he's getting some connections and maybe some interest from Hollywood. So if Mikey Day wants to be a stage dad, I think he's got that option.
It's like, hey, Mikey Day's kid, can you get my script to your dad or something? Can you help me out? do you know Lauren? Can you talk to Lauren for me?
But this was funny. We had like Mikey Day's kid just pulling pranks on his less technically savvy dad. So it's things like he's having a Zoom conference with his boss, and suddenly his Zoom background is his boss's daughter in a bikini behind him.
Yeah, I got like flashes of like Bam Margera and Tom Green when I saw this sketch. I was like, oh yeah, that's like when like they used to prank their folks.
I can see a little of that. Yeah. I thought this was cute. I enjoyed this. I rewatched this one this morning. It still amused me.
Yeah. And like actually, there was at one point where Brandon, Mikey Day's kid, he changed all the contacts in Mikey's phone to read Gigi Hadid, and like for a minute I thought that was like, oh, that's like some made up name or like some goofy Dr. Seuss name, but then I looked it up. And like, yeah, Gigi Hadid that's a model. It's a fashion model. I was like, oh, all right. Okay.
I did not Google Gigi Hadid. I just looked her up. Okay, can't say it's someone I'm familiar with, but okay, yeah, as a fashion model.
Yeah,
but great comedic name.
Yeah, I thought it was like a made-up name, and like no, it's a real person. So look at me being in touch with the youth.
Yep. Apparently, they had something to do with the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. So, no wonder I'm not familiar.
Nope. And this is where I exit.
Yeah, but best to you, Gigi Hadid, and doing your fashion model stuff. We wish you the best with that.
Yeah, go get him.
Yep. I will now proceed to forget forever about Gigi Hadid.
As you do.
As you do. Next, we had Lighthouse Keeper. This was more or less a solo sketch with Kate McKinnon wearing a lovely fake beard, playing a lighthouse keeper, giving advice on how to deal with isolation, because as a lighthouse keeper, she's dealt with a lot of that.
Indeed. Yeah, this sketch was okay. I feel like she just watched The Lighthouse and made a sketch based on that.
Yeah, that is my feeling. I feel like she rented The Lighthouse while in quarantine, and she was just like, how can I imitate Willem Dafoe for 2.5 minutes? Right.
I mean, the funniest part I thought was she looked in the mirror and was like, I have a beard? I don't know why. That got a kick out of me.
Yeah, that was cute. I didn't really take a lot of notes on this. I didn't take a whole lot of notes in the last half hour or so of the show. But yeah, I miss. So.
Yeah, I thought it was okay. I mean, at one point she had a line saying, "Do not give your money to a clam; they don't need it." Which is odd.
That's just good advice for life, right there.
Yeah.
I mean, that applies even outside of isolation.
Absolutely. And also, at the end of the sketch, they gave a little shout-out to, they showed a title card of Little Richard, because recently passed away Little Richard.
Yeah, who passed away, I think, either on Friday or Saturday. So that was nice of them.
Yeah, absolutely. R.I.P.
So next we had a Kyle Mooney sketch called Beer Money on YouTube. This was another thing, kind of like what he did last week, where he was, or the last SNL Home episode, which wasn't actually last week, but it's him playing multiple characters and just around his house and interacting with himself.
Yeah, this sketch is like the Kyle Mooneyest of Kyle Mooney. This is
he went full Mooney.
He went full Mooney. I don't even know how to describe this sketch. Can you even attempt it?
I could, but I will not. It was just Kyle Mooney interacting with himself as different characters who aren't especially different from each other. I mean, he doesn't really change up his look all that much. He basically just changes his clothes. It was beer money, and he was like trying to scrape together beer money, I think. I don't know. Again, I didn't really. My only note on this is very weird. So, again, it felt like somebody smoked a lot of pot in quarantine, and this is what they typed up.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of really bad split screen, shots. So it shows when Kyle Mooney's talking to himself, there's a part where it's that's obviously he's in a different room. I think the basic premises of it is Kyle Mooney got dumped by his girl, and then his roommates, also played by Kyle Mooney, want him to go out and party and get beer money, so that they end up robbing a bank for the beer. This was so damn weird. I don't even know where to start with.
Better than I do, quite frankly.
Yeah, I really can't describe it. It's just really strange, this one.
Yeah, I've honestly already pretty much expunged the sketch from my mind. All that I really remember for sure is that I didn't like it very much. So, sorry, Kyle.
Okay. And the final sketch of the night.
Yeah.
Dreams.
Dreams, yes. This started out with Cecily Strong on the phone with her mom, just talking about, just kind of getting the cabin fever, as a lot of people are right now. And then she goes to sleep, and then she starts dreaming about her life in New York and just being able to go outside and be around crowds of people. We see her sort of green screened into Times Square. And I recognize some of the Times Square footage from when they did that Bruno Mars film segment where he was playing the rat in Times Square. And he ends up getting a hug from somebody.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Okay. Do you remember that from when Bruno Mars hosted?
Vaguely.
Yeah. Well, anyway, I recognized some of the animal suits, and I was like, "Oh, look, they recycled some of that footage." So that's
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
And
And
then it segues to the other cast members just dreaming about what they miss in particular. Like 80 is playing with a lot of puppies in a field, and
yeah, and yeah, they have like Chloe Fineman and Lidley surrounded by all these Italian restaurants, but then she
Mhm.
sees like Popeyes across the street and is like, "Oh, that's what I want." And then her going to
Yeah, yeah.
Popeyes.
And we see Chris Red performing in a comedy club. We see Bowen Yang, who I guess he was missing, like going to a cabaret or something like that. Um, I'm not quite sure what his thing was, but he was going to some sort of show. Um,
Then they showed Ego Nwodum next to Woody Allen, but her being bothered by it, so it was more of a nightmare for her.
Yeah, we saw, like, because they're green screening the cast members into various crowd scenes. They used a couple scenes from movies, so we see like Keenan next to Dustin Hoffman as Tootsie walking down the street in New York City, and then they did the thing with Ego sitting on a park bench with Woody Allen, with Woody Allen's arm around him.
Yeah,
And
and there
it's like Annie Hall or Manhattan era Woody Allen,
right, not like this Woody Allen, the old Woody Allen.
right? Yeah,
Yeah,
before he was how creepy he could be.
yeah. Yeah, and then they had like Pete Davidson at Yankee Stadium next to 9/11 era Giuliani and Babe Ruth too.
Yes, that was funny. Yeah, I really kind of like this. This was it was. I don't usually like it when SNL gets sentimental, but this worked for me. And it reminded me of some of the cool film segments that they did in like the 70s or 80s, like the Schiller Vision stuff. You know?
Oh yeah, like that. There's that one with Gilda Radner. It's like in black and white. I think she's
Mm-hmm.
like I forget the name of it, but yeah, like sometimes see stuff like that is always interests me. Like there's sometimes they'll do like an SNL will do like a short where it's more sentimental than it is funny, and then
Mm-hmm.
I think in instances like that you have to kind of I think they're definitely different. I like when they stray away from the normal comedic formula of being funny, where they be serious and stuff like that. But I know some people are like, well, it's supposed to be a comedy show. What's with the serious stuff? But I don't know. Like depending on how it's portrayed, I can definitely get into it.
Yeah, I mean, I think I SNL they at times they can go overboard on the sentiment. I think I personally like just a little pinch of that every few shows, maybe, and if it's justified. Here, I thought it worked pretty well. I thought it was justified, and from what I was seeing on the comments on YouTube, it seemed to work for most people. So I liked it, and they had some funny stuff in there. Yeah, it reminded me a little of that. Do you remember that sketch with John Belushi with himself as like the last surviving SNL cast member and Don't Look Back in Anger?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. Or it also reminded me a little of that the Life is a Dream thing with Phil Hartman and Jan Hooks.
I love that one. Life is a dream, yet it's
Yeah.
so real. Yeah, that's a really sweet sketch they did.
Yeah. So, I mean, I thought it was on a par with those. Um,
Yeah.
so,
All right. So let me ask you this. So after you saw this sketch, do you?
mhm.
Because I don't know. When I was watching it, I got the impression that like this would be Cecily's last show. I don't know. Like, do you think is this like because like there was one point where Cecily's dreaming and like all the cast members are kind of around her and like as she's going back to waking up, like all the cast members are like waving goodbye to her at one point. Like, do you think this is Cecily's like goodbye? Do you think is she leaving?
Um, I didn't personally get that from the sketch. I guess I could see how you would interpret that. I think I'd probably have to rewatch the ending of it again to say for sure. Um, but I don't know. They don't always announce that at the end of the season. And honestly, I would hate for anybody's last show to be an SNL at home show because then you don't really get to say goodbye for real. Um,
Yeah,
so if this was Cecily's last show, or if it was like, say, Keenan's last show, and I don't think it's been established definitively that either one of them is leaving, um, I would hope that they could come back in the fall somehow to have a more proper goodbye.
yeah, absolutely. Like, I actually because like I don't know, there was something about that sketch because like the way it began and ended with Cecily and how they were waving goodbye to her at that one point. I was like, oh, is Cecily leaving? And then also I checked on Instagram and she posted this one picture of herself where like her hand is over her mouth and it looks like she was about to cry or just been crying. And it says, saying goodbye to season 45 today. I miss my friends and family at SNL. I miss so much that I didn't know I'd ever have to miss. And I was like, I don't know. That it's something about it struck me as like, oh, that seems like very kind of something like kind of final about that. Like, I don't know. I got for a minute. I was like, oh, is it?
Let me see. I'm looking on Instagram now, and I hadn't happened to. Oh well, now the sound is going. Okay, I can't look at that now. Obviously.
All right. No, I didn't mean to spring this on. I didn't mean to spring this on you, but yeah, there's something about that sketch. Is like
no, I see the post you meant now. Yeah. Looks look from the look of her in that picture, it looks like she had perhaps been crying a bit, but she says she's saying goodbye to season 45. She didn't say she's saying goodbye to SNL.
That's true. Like, yeah, no one's come out and said they're leaving, but I don't know. There's something about it that kind of like I don't know.
I wouldn't jump to conclusions just yet,
okay.
And yeah, so
I shouldn't put up the YouTube video on Facebook about my conspiracy theories just yet.
No, you totally should, because whatever gets us more hits and more listeners to the show is absolutely justified.
Cecily Strong is leaving Saturday Night Live. She's about to buy CBS.
Yeah. What was the other project that she had going? I forget what that was now. I know she had something else happening.
Oh, yeah. It was like a musical comedy for Apple Plus, I want to say.
Okay. Yeah. So, I mean, but we seem to be in an age where people can do the side projects and stay on SNL. Like Keenan has had a couple other side things, and he's still on SNL. And Adie Bryant had her show that I'm blanking on the name of. That
Shrill.
Shrill, thank you. And she's stayed with SNL. So somebody doing another thing, it doesn't necessarily mean that they're leaving the show.
I guess you're right. Yeah. Well,
of course I'm right. Never doubt me again, Darren Patterson.
I'm so sorry, sir. I didn't know.
But we should prepare like a YouTube video of like a montage of all their greatest hits and just set it to Sarah McLachlan's "I Will Remember You."
Oh, I was going to have it simply the best.
Okay, we can do one of each of those. But we should just have those ready to go, just to roll out as soon as they officially announce.
Done and done.
Okay, and that was the show, and that was the season. The only other thing I found interesting to note was during Kristen Wiig's Good Night, she seemed to be wearing an "I Hate Bon Jovi" shirt.
Really?
Yeah,
no.
I don't know what the story is there. Does she actually hate Bon Jovi? Is she wearing this ironically? But it said, "I hate Bon Jovi." So,
does she have like some personal vendetta against Bon Jovi that we don't know about?
I don't know. Do she and Richie Sambora have beef? I have no idea.
Looks like it's time to start another YouTube video and put it on Facebook.
Okay, let's work up a conspiracy theory for that. So I mean, what did you think of these SNL at Home episodes overall?
Overall, I liked them. I thought it was it's definitely different. It's it's definitely not the live show. You're not getting the fan, and you're like everything is more kind of edited down. You're not getting like kind of the spontaneous one take that you get from live shows. There's the audience reaction isn't there. It's its own thing, but it's still pretty entertaining. I mean, I still miss the live aspect of it, but I mean, I guess this is like a good. What's the word? Like placebo? Not placebo. It's a good kind of replacement. What's up?
Yeah, something to tide you over.
Yes, it's something that tied me over. I can't think of the word, but it's a good replacement until they can do the real thing again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's a decent substitute, and I mean, I think it was interesting to see the learning curve that they had, because like the first show was pretty low key, pretty low tech, and then they took a quantum leap forward with the technical aspects in the last 2 episodes. So I was impressed with what they were able to accomplish with their limited resources.
Yeah, like towards the end when they were doing all like when they got more with the effects, like with Kristen Wiig's monologue and the 80 Bryant Eleanor's house sketch, like they were able to do more and more with like effects and whatnot. It was like pretty impressive.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah. So that was fun. I wouldn't necessarily want a steady diet of the SNL at home just because of the limitations. It gives the sketches a certain sameness. You know, you just can't have as much variety as you do on the typical live show where you can do like a live sketch and then a musical segment and then a film segment and then a fake commercial. Like so many of the things they normally do, they can't do.
Yeah, that's true. I hear you. And just so many sketches. We need to trim that down a little bit.
Yeah, it's almost an embarrassment of riches. I think all of these shows, like most SNL reruns, they would seem a lot stronger if they were cut down to an hour. You could cut out the fat, you could cut out some of the weirder things that don't really go anywhere, and you could just have the strong stuff, you know?
Yes. Cut the fat, all muscle.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So,
should we check the Twitter and see what the people had to say?
Well, yeah, I'm checking. I'm not seeing too much new. I read that thing about Mikey Day's kid a little earlier, so I think that's about it. But if you're seeing anything new, actually, yeah, I see something from Nick's store. If you can read that if you want, or I can.
Wait, hold on. Let me see if I can pop that up.
Yeah, that was applying to us.
Nick's store. Where the hell is he? Oh, okay, I got it. Okay. I got it. All right, so Nick's store at Nick's store said, "I'm not sure how I felt. Glad we could have a Wig-hosted episode and not have her in every sketch. Not a KW fan. Some good jokes in Weekend Update. Sketch of the night, let kids drink. Agreed. LOL of the night. LOL of the night, Ego's reaction to being hugged by Woody Allen. In all, episode 2 of SNL at Home was the best."
I think I would agree with that. Yeah, I think episode 2 was probably the strongest overall, but I thought there was some strong stuff in this one. But I just thought like the last half hour was pretty weak, so I thought that took the show down a couple notches.
Okay, fair enough. I'd have to go back and watch the other 2 SNL at Homes, but yeah, this one was okay. But yeah, I feel like either 1 or 2 was a little bit stronger. So yeah, we're with you there, Nick.
Yeah. So I think next week we're going to do a season 45 in review show where we can just talk about who our favorite hosts were, the additions of Chloe Fineman and Bowen Yang as cast members, favorite sketches from the year. There's a lot to unpack there, you know?
Right. Yeah. I mean, we see that, friend of the show, Ruby the Rube, asked us about like what we thought about this season overall and our favorite episodes. We're going to save all of that for the next episode because there's a lot to unpack in that one.
Yeah, I think put a pin in that because that's such a big topic. We want to do it justice, and we don't want to just do it in a rush in 5 minutes at the end of our podcast.
Yes, we want to give the time and respect it deserves.
Yeah, and also, quite frankly, I just need to refresh my memory of the various hosts and what the strongest sketches were. So I need a little more time to put that together.
Yeah, no, I actually looked back on some of the old episodes really quickly, and I was like, oh yeah, I remember that. Oh hey, yeah, the Sarah Lee sketch. Oh yeah, the Midday News sketch. Yeah, like it was a nice little walk down memory lane.
Yeah. I've been saving some sketches as we go. When SNL posts them on YouTube, I try to save my favorites to a playlist, and I'll go through that and figure out what my favorites of the season were, and maybe we can each have like a top 5 sketches or something like that.
Ooh, that's pretty smart. I should. Wow, you're putting some work into this podcast. I guess I gotta.
I know. Well, one of us has to, Darren.
Oh, you son of a! How dare you! I had that whole great story about me dressing up in neckties in junior high. I contribute.
You contribute. And Speaking of the podcast, we actually got another couple of reviews on the podcast, and I thought we would read those. We forgot to read these during our last episode, but I've got those up right now. Give me just a second here. This one is from Radical Alex, Radical_Alex. Says, great show, gives us 5 stars, and says, a joy for nerds and newcomers alike. So thank you very much, Alex.
Thanks, Alex.
And this next one, they go on a bit more. This is from Comedian E, who writes in all caps, must listen with an exclamation point. If you're even remotely interested in SNL, this is a must listen. These guys are spot on. Say what you will about SNL. This podcast is consistent and funny. 5 stars.
There you go. It's in all caps, so you know it's legit.
Yeah, so thank you very much, Comedian E. I have no idea if this is a comedian that you and I might know or not. If that's a stranger, that's even more flattering.
Yeah, or maybe it's a comedian on ecstasy. Who knows?
Yes, it is a comedian on ecstasy, so they are particularly enjoying the podcast.
Yes, absolutely.
As you do.
As you do. Yes. We're very popular with comedians on psychedelics.
Yes. I mean, that is the audience that we are aiming for. So, and if you're on psychedelics and you want to tweet at us, you can reach us at the show page on Twitter at SNL Nerds Show. And you can also follow our individual Twitter accounts. I'm at Trumbull Comic, TRUMBULL, and the word comic.
And I'm at Darren Credible, Twitter and Instagram. That's DARIN Credible.
Yes. And as I said, next week we're going to come back with a season 45 in review show. And then we're in summer vacation mode. So we'll be going back to doing SNL movies and possibly TV shows and maybe some theme episodes. And
documentaries.
The world is our oyster. We've got all sorts of possibilities coming up, and we hope to do a little more of the interviews, like the bonus episode that we dropped this week with Michael Colton and John Abood, talking all about the movie they wrote about Doug Kinney, Futile and Stupid Gesture.
Yeah, guys, if you haven't listened to it, give it a listen. And that was a really great episode. I think we're like going forward, we're definitely going to try to do more interviews like that with people who worked either on the show or like a movie connected to the show or something like that. Like I really think that was one of our best. Yeah.
I really enjoyed doing that, and I always enjoy finding out about behind the scene information. So if you've ever worked on SNL, you can either be a current person there or a former cast or crew member. Please drop us a line, let us know, and we would love to talk to you for the podcast and just find out all about what your experience working on the show was like.
Absolutely.
Okay, but we'll be back with our season review next week. But until then, we're going to sign off. So until next week, Nerds out.
This has been a non-productive media presentation. Executive producer Frank Hablawi. This program and many others like it on the Non-Productive Network is distributed under a Creative Commons Attribution Non-Commercial No Derivatives license. Please share it, but ask before trying to change it or sell it. For more information, visit non-productive.com.